Hey guys, my name is Joanne and welcome to my channel Joe Boy Techie. And finally I have with me the most hyped smartphone of this quarter, the Redmi Note 10. Actually, I very much wanted to buy the 4GB 64GB variant that is priced at 11,999 only because I wanted to know how capable that smartphone would be taking into consideration the price point. But unfortunately, due to the limited stock on Amazon or whatever the reason may be, I had to finally settle in for the 6GB 128GB variant. Well, I guess this is the variant that most consumers would go for, but that price point of 11,999, and they yet managed to push some flagship level features. So much so that the entire Redmi Note 10 series has shaken up the budget smartphone segment. But despite being one of the best budget smartphones this year, there are some issues with this smartphone that need to be talked about. What are they? Let's find out. Now, I've been using the smartphone for almost a week, but I'll just go through the unboxing again. So this is the black color variant of the Redmi Note 10 that is priced at 13,999, which is not bad at all. Inside you get the smartphone that is neatly packed and a screen guard applied, the USB Type-C cable and a 33-watt charging brick. You even get a transparent case, but I guess this was a bit defected and I found myself struggling too hard to fit the phone in. So instead I just went on Amazon and got myself a Spigen case that costs 1000 rupees, and I think it's worth it for a gorgeous design and well-built smartphone like this. So in terms of specifications, this is what the Redmi Note 10 has to offer. You get a Snapdragon 678 processor, 4GB or 6GB RAM along with 64 and 128GB storage options, a 6.4-inch Full HD Plus AMOLED display, 5000 mAh battery and 33-watt fast charging, Android 11 out of the box, 48 megapixel main camera, 8 megapixel ultra wide, 2 megapixel macro sensor, 2 megapixel depth sensor and a 13 megapixel front camera. Now the design of the back panel of the smartphone completely destroys the competition in this segment. While talking about the rest, you get Gorilla Glass 3 on the front and a polycarbonate finish on the back, which actually feels like glass but is not, and even it attracts quite a lot of dust. On the right you get the volume buttons along with the power button that acts as the fingerprint scanner as well. On the left side you get the SIM tray where you can add 2 SIMs and an SD card. On the bottom you get the 3.5mm jack, a microphone, USB Type-C slot, and you get dual speakers on these that also support high resolution audio, an IR blaster, which means you can use this as a remote for some appliances, and the very important noise cancelling microphone. I'm saying important because many manufacturers silently eliminate the noise cancelling microphone in their budget smartphones. On the back you get the basic camera setup, which has a very minimal camera bump, and the phone is also quite slim and also very light in weight. The Redmi Note 10 also comes with an IP53 rating, which means you do not have to worry about the smartphone at least during the monsoon. So overall, this is a very well built phone that is going to grab quite a lot of attention. So you get a 6.4-inch AMOLED display and mainly a Full HD Plus resolution with a peak brightness of 1100 nits, which according to me is a deal breaker for a budget smartphone like this. This even comes with an always on display, but unfortunately it won't stay for more than 10 seconds. I remember the Samsung M30 and M30s back in the day with a similar display, but it's kind of hard to believe now, an AMOLED Full HD Plus display under 12,000. But getting back to specifics, I have noticed that this is not one of the best AMOLED panels. I mean, this feels like an AMOLED display only when you bump up the brightness to 75% or above. But however, that didn't stop me from enjoying content on this display. You can easily view Full HD videos on Netflix or Amazon Prime, no issues with that. You get a Widevine L1 certification but no HDR10 Plus support, which I think is okay. However, you can view HDR videos on YouTube, but I noticed that there were drastic changes in the exposure in almost every scene. And plus I also faced some heating issues and battery drain issues while doing so. So this is something to take note of. In terms of hardware, you get Snapdragon 678 and 6GB of RAM, which I think is quite stable. Now, I'm not a very big fan of benchmark scores because those are just numbers and everything depends on how you use your smartphone. I never had any issues multitasking, but I did experience some very minute stutters, but that would be only under extreme situations. Basic games worked just fine, although I would not recommend the smartphone for heavy gaming. The phone did heat up, but that was kind of expected. When it comes to the RAM management of the smartphone, I think it's quite good. It can keep as many apps as you want running in the background, but there will be a slight lag that you might face. The only issue is that this smartphone will always heat up a little bit no matter what you do. Doesn't heat up to that extent, but just enough to grab your attention. I tried clearing apps in the background from time to time, but it was still there. Maybe it's just a software optimization issue. But did they feed the smartphone with too many features to handle? I hope they fix that through a software update. And now we'll talk about something that Redmi has been promoting the most, and that is the camera. You get a 48 megapixel main camera, 8 megapixel ultra wide, 2 megapixel macro and a 2 megapixel depth sensor. But before I speak about the camera, let's take a moment to appreciate this gorgeous design here on the back in comparison to all the other mediocre looking designs for other budget smartphones. When it comes to the other features on the camera, you get portrait mode, night mode, panorama, short videos like reels, documents, etc. I'm very glad that they have even given a manual mode where you can take pictures in RAW format as well. When it comes to videos, you can shoot up to 4K 30 FPS and 60 FPS is limited to 1080p. You can even add a film gate for your videos to give it a cinematic look. Quality of photos is always good during the day, and that's obviously because of natural light. But the real challenge is in low light, but this did perform quite well. The edge detection in portrait mode did a decent job. Night mode also enhanced the photos quite well, and it didn't take much time to process. The portrait mode of the front camera was fine, but edge detection was not up to the mark, especially near the hair region. Now the battery on this is fairly decent, 5000 mAh, and a full charge gave me an entire day of usage. And by entire day, I meant some basic usage like scrolling through some social media apps, watching some content on Netflix or Amazon Prime, and making some phone calls. I even made a WhatsApp call for nearly 30 minutes and it drained only 10% of my battery, which is decent. And the best part is you get a 33 watt charging brick with this, which is something that you can least expect on budget smartphones. You get nearly 40% of battery after 30 minutes of charging. Now, as I said in the start, there are some minor drawbacks. The first being the minor heating issue, which you can overlook, but it can kind of restrict you from trying to push the smartphone to the limits. The second minor drawback is the availability of the smartphone. Now, after a certain period of time, the smartphone will surely be available to all, but the question is how long can you wait for it? So my final verdict is that you can definitely go for the Redmi Note 10 despite the controversy regarding the Mi offline stores if you know about it. The pricing of the entire Redmi Note 10 lineup is amazing, and if you managed to buy one of these smartphones, then congratulations, you've made an amazing choice. So my overall rating for the Redmi Note 10 would be 4.5 out of 5. Guys, if you like this video or if you found it informative, then hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Stay safe, take care of yourself till then, see you next time.